Let me introduce you to a visual artist who has not only done a residency at the Alice Springs Desert Park, but his work is about to go on show at Ulara from April 1st. Ben Beeton's exhibition is called Unearthing Uluru. Thanks for your time, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
So how do you unearth Uluru?
To unearth Uluru, you have to look to science. It's a fascinating story. I mean, my interest is making science visible. So that means first port of call is to going to the scientists and finding out what do they know about this. And it's just incredible. Using art to actually look at science and change things in a way so you're innovating on these incredible ideas that have developed. So Uluru is, as people know, hundreds of millions of years old, but actually formation is something to do with the Petermann Ranges and the deep time history of Australia itself. So over millions of years you've got these incredible sedimentary layers building up and then being covered, and then as other parts of Australia join together, you've got this twisting of the landscape, which has a lot to do with the McDonnell Ranges as well. And then finally, Uluru is unearthed. But those layers that make it look like a series of books, they're actually sedimentary layers that have been twisted up 90 degrees. And what's remarkable to me is that somewhere in the centre, you've got the Cambrian explosion. And that's our origins. That's the history of backboned animals, the Cambrian period. So our history is really linked up with the history of Uluru in an incredible way.
So how do you then display that in an artistic way?
Yes, well, that's the question. I love working with creative people. So I'm working with a whole range of different people to communicate these aspects of this incredible story in different ways. I'm working with an animator, and we're looking at an animation that stretches all the continents through time. So you can see when they break apart and join together again. And so that's 2,000 million years, 2 billion years. I'm working with an engineer from Melbourne, and we've actually drawn that up as a model, and that's all laser cut. A painter has done a large scroll mural of it, and then that's the geology, and then we're looking at the life element as well. So there's a ninth level of scale, and I'm also working with a sculptor on this, and he's made some incredible DNA attachment motifs which I designed.
So we're not just talking about pretty pictures on a wall in a gallery, are we?
No, we're looking at making science visible, answering questions which always just lead on to other questions. See, if someone says, "Oh, so what's art?" Art is it's really it's a conduit for awareness, and the whole history of art. So much of the history of art has been about inflaming falsehoods, really getting people excited about things that really aren't true. But art can be used in so many other ways as well.
So when people go to this exhibition, which starts on April 1st, what can they expect to see?
All sorts of different things. I don't think that I would hope that nobody that sees the exhibition is going to come out of that experience seeing things in exactly the same way. What will they see is really what will they experience is the question. They'll experience an awareness of deep time. They'll experience shapes within the tree of life, different ways of visualizing the tree of life. There's a wonderful painting that I've been working on with Heather Duff, and there you'll be able to see the geology, the changing geology of Uluru, overlaid with the changing morphology of our gene stream.
How long is the exhibition showing down at Ulara for?
Throughout April.
Ben, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Well, thank you.
That's Ben Beeton. He is a visiting artist. He has not only done a residency at the Alice Springs Desert Park, but his work is also about to go on show from April 1st at Ulara. It is running all through April, so if you are interested in going and experiencing it rather than seeing it, you can head down the 500 kilometres down to the Rock and check it out. You're with me, Emma Haskell, on 783 ABC Alice Springs.
Following this interview, an opportunity came up to create another artwork which hadn't been made at the time of the interview, and on it I worked with a number of different local Unearthing artists. The concept was a scroll that depicted the movement of the continents over 2 billion years, which would accompany the model and the animation, which were both looking at the same theme of continents moving across the surface of the Earth over 2 billion years, presented in 4 dimensions. And it turned out to be very successful, bringing together scientific perspectives on the movement of continents through deep time and artistic perspectives, both traditional Uluru perspectives on the changing landscape on a seasonal basis, and perspectives from artists such as myself on how to model continental movement through deep time. An opportunity also came up for me to go to the local primary school with one of the local astronomers, Nathaniel Butterworth, and Nathaniel and I showed the kids some of the work that I'd been doing at Uluru and some of the work that he was doing at Astro Hub. So it was a real marriage between science, the arts, and using these tools to communicate to the children some fascinating things about the changing landscape through deep time. What we were showing them was how some of the stars, the light that leaves the stars, is dated back to specific points where the landscape was changing dramatically in deep time. The outcome was an interactive artwork that I created with the school kids. You can see this artwork on my website, sciart.com.au. If you go to Unearthing Uluru, you'll see the different projects that were undertaken through the artist residency.